All right, so today I'm going to talk about some things that you probably won't see in a behind the scenes video. If you see some behind the scenes videos of bands in the studio or whatever, you might see them kind of joking around or fooling around with ideas, or even doing vocal warm-ups. But here, this guitar, I just added strings to it, new strings. You have to add fresh strings consistently when you're recording. Strings eventually get dull, and so, especially bass strings, I don't know why that is, but so new strings were put on these. Did play around with it for about maybe, I don't know, 3 minutes or so, just kind of fooled around with it. It's been retuned. I guarantee it's already out of tune, because here's our fresh strings. So you got to replace the strings with some consistency. If you're in the studio for a month playing with the same set of strings, it's going to sound terrible. So anyhow, so let's talk about a little bit what's going on here with this guitar. Sorry, there's so much dust, and all this dust shows up easily on camera. So a few things. The strings I'm using for this particular song, these are deliberate. These are Ernie balls, power Slinkies. I usually use D'Addario's, the EXL-110s. These have a particular tonal quality that I'm looking for this particular track. So if I were to describe the genre of the track that this guitar is going to be used on, I would call it dark alternative, for lack of a better word. Or maybe kind of like a dark grungy sound, but anyhow, these kind of make sense for that recording. So instead of my D'Addario EXL-110s I usually put on, excuse me, I'm using these. So not often I use Ernie balls, but it does the job for what I need. So you have to know your tone. This isn't going to be only guitar, by the way. There's going to be a Les Paul is going to be used. So a Les Paul, not just this. So I'm just going to layer stuff up, but it kind of has like a bit of a junk shop sound. Not junk shop, that's terrible. It's got a maybe lo-fi or vintage, I don't know how to explain it, older sound. We'll just go there. It's got a particular sound quality I'm looking for, which is why it's being used. That's all. The picks you use are going to be important. I got a bunch of picks here. So this, not so much these, but this yellow Dunlop Tortex is what I usually use when I'm practicing or playing live. I used to use the oranges, the reds and the oranges, but not anymore. This, I just have it, I saw it in the store. I'm going to try this out. So it's interesting. I don't think it's going to replace these. I used to use Clayton picks, but compared to other picks, I went back to the Dunlop Tortexes because the Clayton picks to me sounds like someone put on a high pass filter on the guitar. So it just sounded a little, I don't know, just didn't sound as authentic to me. Now in the studio, I tend to use the prime tones. The reason why I use the prime tones, the initial attack, that initial transient burst, it seems to me it's got a bit more of a dynamic range. I don't know how to explain it. I think I've even looked at it, recording it, and just, I don't know, it does something that I like. These aren't for the stage. These are just for the studio. So I got this other pick here. I like to fool around with this for solos, but I don't do a lot of heavy metal solos. This is actually a Kirk Hammett Jazz 3 Dunlop pick. So it's got a little notch in there, so you got a little bit more surface area, so you can choke up on the pick. It's actually fun to play solos with this pick. I actually like the way it sounds, but I don't really use this either. I just use this when I'm practicing. And again, I don't do a lot of solos, especially if I do, I'm not shredding like Kirk Hammett is. So, but it's actually a really fun pick to play with. So I recommend checking it out. So here's the reason why you got to replace your strings with some regularity when you're in the studio. You finish a song, you do a few takes here and there, and you comp them, and you're done, right? It depends how good of a guitar player you are. If you're not good, you're gonna have to do a lot of takes. But the strings are gonna get dull. Dirt, oil, and grime is gonna get on the strings, right? It's actually, if you can see, it's wound metal over a core, and these three here at the top are actually just straight steel string. They're not wrapped. You got to wipe it down afterwards, after you practice. You might use this, something like this, GHS Fast Red String Cleaner and Lubricant. A buddy of mine used to work for Fender, doesn't agree with me on this. He says at the end of the day, you're still putting chemicals on your string and they're going to set on the string. So who knows, but I still use this from time to time. So the string choices are important. The D'Addarios are a little bit brighter. I use them on almost everything I do, whether it's just in the stage or on stage or on studio. But so to me, they're also more versatile because they are brighter, but this seems to work. And so next thing you got to do is you got to cut these off. And I got this little string cutter here. So you're going to go in the trash. And then I got to retune these again. So this is down tuned to half step, at least it should be. Yeah. So I got to retune this again. Anyhow, so that's this video. So again, this isn't stuff you really see in a behind the scenes video. But there you have it. Oh yeah, in case you're wondering, that was a sticker that I tried to take off, and I'm still taking off the residue. It's really stubborn and in there. So